Welcome, welcome back. I've got to move something around here. Welcome to the Get Lucky, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to the Get Lucky podcast with Lucretia YT. And this is where I want to say thank you for coming. And if you're coming back, thank you for coming back. Very much appreciated. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to go over here to comments and see who's here. We have in the house, Hawkins Family Adventures first. Thank you so much for coming, Sandra. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for coming. Fairy Dust, Bernae, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I always love it when, you share how I affected your life in this whole thing. Just, it really makes me feel good. All right. So, and there's, oh goodness, there's hubby. There's coffee in here, hubby. Hot coffee. Woo, that's a little strong. I made that much earlier this morning. I know I did. I could tell. Hubs took Big Czar for a walk. I wish he was in here right now. Czar, the German Shepherd. Okay. That's weird. And is back. It's really chilly here in Eugene. Really chilly. I know. I didn't know until you said it the other day that, I know that we kind of had a bond. We kind of built a bond early on. I really would love to chat with you sometime about how you even came into finding me, because that's important to know, how people find each other in this world of YouTube, because it's a big, big world, as we all know. No fire today. I didn't really have time to get Richard to do it, and my voice is sounding really weird. That's odd. So thank you for being your first RV channel. I think how I found this whole world is I've known for a while that I would like to eventually pare down my living situation someday. And I don't know why, but I started looking at tiny homes, and they're adorable. And I thought, and they're made to look like they can travel. They could be a tiny house. They are a tiny house on wheels in many cases. And in some cases, they are small enough to pull around. Well, what am I saying? People pull 40-foot RVs. So it really is, they really could be, pulled around the country. So I started looking at those, and somewhere in the midst of all that, I found Bob Wells. Bob Wells was number one. There's nobody before Bob. And then from him, I found, gosh darn it, something Daydream or something like that. And he was on early mornings, though, and he was in the South. And if you know, I'm here in Oregon. And it was like he was on there starting at 5 a.m. our time here on the West Coast. And so I found a couple of other channels that are, fairly good sized channels. And boom, then I start making these connections. And so that is how I started finding people. I literally would write one channel down at a time in a notebook. I've got like a couple of these notebooks that are like this big, full to the brim of different channels. So that's how I started finding people. And then I would write them down. 9 months, 6 months of my life was nothing but YouTube. Zero, nothing but YouTube. Hold on just a second. I'm going to mute my mic for a minute. We are looking for a remote control to the TV that's behind me, so that Alexander was going to put on a fire, crackling fire for me. So there's a couple more people in the house. I don't know who they are yet, but I hope they'll pop in and say hi. So that's how I started finding channels. That's how I made my connection to YouTube. And I went from there. So that's what I did. I don't know how anybody else did it, but I do like to know those things. I'm always interested in finding out how people did this, whatever. So that's kind of the shortened version of all this. Just going to have another sip of coffee. All right, so I thought I would talk about my week a little bit. Had a tough week from Sunday to Sunday. It was a tough week. And I really, it was a big struggle. So just to kind of let people know where things are at, I have had at some point last weekend, there was a shift in how my pain affects me. And I used to just have this one particular pain when I was getting out of bed and, right first thing in the morning. And it, like late in last week or week before last, it started shifting. And I would have it more consistently. And then boom, last weekend, it was hard. After last Sunday, I've not been able to get rid of it. Now, for the most part, it was between a 4 and a 10. And there were a day or two I was in my jammies, in and out of bed or in bed. That's just how it had to be for me. And so I struggled with that really badly. And I was fearful, as my short that I did explained. I was really afraid. And so we then, I was petrified. I've always done Thanksgiving and Christmas for the most part on my own. Richard will peel potatoes, chop onions, chop peppers. So will Alexander. But I'm used to just doing everything, having 14 side dishes for dinner, cake. Why did I say cake? Cake is not even my main love of life. And, turkey, ham, and every side dish you can imagine. Homemade mac and cheese with roux, started from a roux. And if anybody knows what a roux is, you're a cook. So all those things require that you be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And I was not able to. So every time I step from the time I'm up till the time I'm in bed, there's a pain that has developed into that pain's now consistent. All right. So I have, that's just the way it is. I can't fix that right now. But I'm in the process of getting to that point of having it fixed. And I think most of you know, I have to get to a certain BMI for that to happen. And I have just over this week lost 4 pounds. Please don't ask how I did it. I have no idea, because we'll get to the food in just a second. So it definitely has been a challenging week, but that's all right. That is life. If not me, then who? Maybe somebody who could not tolerate it more. And I really mean this. Maybe someone who just couldn't figure out how to live with the pain would have it. I can figure out how to live with the pain. I trust that, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, all things work together for good. And I trust in my God to provide for me a way to manage these things. So that said, it's just how I'm living. So day to day, we'll see how things go day to day. And I see Ava Potterfield is in the house. Thank you, Ava, for showing up. I'm so happy you're here. See, somebody want to let Zara out? My family is a family of redheads. The red you see in my hair is real. The blonde is real. This is basically what I grew up with. I do use a color now, but my little sister is very much your red hair. My son, very much your red hair. So I love red hair, and it is yours is beautiful, and your haircut is adorable. I love it. I love your haircut. I do. All right. So let me make sure I want to make sure I cover everything today because last week I didn't have one last weekend. It was weekend before last. Or maybe it was last weekend. I'm totally confused now. But so my major helpers were my son Alexander Zewahatton. Yes, that's his name. He changed it. He kept part of it. Brent is still in his name, and that's the name I generally call him still. He prefers Alex. You know what's so funny, and I say this all the time. He wanted the name Alex from the time he was a toddler that could speak and know names. You know, a young kid. I would say older than a toddler. He always loved the name Alex. So I should have known someday he was going to make Alexander his part of his name.
Well, also Alex is very gender neutral, and I'm non-binary. So.
Okay, so there's the reasoning for him. All right, so my next big helper was Billy, who is my nephew / adopted son. My sister passed his mother about 24 years ago, and he was a teen, and we've always had a close relationship, and he and his sister are just adopted to me emotionally. And I think of him as my kid. I treat him as my kid, and he treats me like mom. You know, he's a good nephew son, you know. I told him whatever he needs me to be, I can be for him, so that he knew that he was connected to somebody who loved him completely and unconditionally. And that is how I love my kids, my nephews and nieces. All right. And then his wife, Peggy, she did a fabulous job. They both did a fabulous job. I'm going to show you a few pictures of our holiday, and I'm hoping that you all had a wonderful one as well. So everything got done, and, you know, it's just, it's funny how things work out. For me, they work out the way they're supposed to. And when I say I believe all things work together for good, I mean that. I haven't had it be different yet. Now, does that mean that things don't interfere? Well, of course. I just described my pain situation. You know, it is no fun, by the way. But I am probably, let me count silently in my head. So 12, that's not very silent. I need to lose about 12. Somewhere between 17 and 20 pounds. And then I'm eligible for this giant surgery. It's just how it is, you know, I just had to do it. So I'm glad I have an ethical surgeon too. Glad I have an ethical surgeon who said, Lucretia, if I do this surgery, this was last year, in January of last year, he told me, if I do the surgery, this situation at the BMI you're at, you will die on the operating table because you'll bleed out. Stop me in my tracks. It's been a challenge, but you know what? It is what it is. My little sister just had surgery on her neck that she's been waiting for months and months and months, and had to battle insurance to get it, and got it. So keep my little sister in your prayers. Her name's Priscilla. She's not on here today because she can't really hold up her phone. All right. So you mind sharing what your favorite dish was of the holidays? Because we had everything that you could possibly need for a holiday dinner. We had 2 turkeys. I did cook 2 turkeys. My nephew helped with that. I sat in the kitchen in a rolling chair. It was so funny. And I instructed Billy on how to prepare a turkey. I think it's a good idea. Well, he likes to cook, first of all. Him and I make bread together. I'm trying not to make bread right now because bread is my pure addiction. My pure addiction is carbohydrates. So, but I know how to make really good bread. However, let me tell you a little funny aside here. I screwed up. I don't know how I did it. It could have been bad yeast, but he and I made homemade dinner rolls. And I'll tell you, they did not look like the ones my mother made. And I know how to, like I said, I am an excellent bread cook. So I'm going to have to go back and figure out what went wrong with that. Could be bad yeast, but there's a couple things. So anyways, let's check out the chat here. Bernie. All right. So so we had turkey ham dressing, of course. My son was going to I was going to have him make cornbread dressing because I'm not the fan of cornbread. I like bread dressing. But there are people who like cornbread dressing, and it's good if it's made right. And instead, though, he makes really good cornbread. So rather than make the cornbread, the cornbread dressing, he decided to make cornbread. He also made from scratch the green bean casserole. Excellent job on green bean casserole. As a matter of fact, I wish I had some right now. We're out though. Thank you. That's a great blessing, and prayers for all people who need healing. And I know too many. There's like a household in my home of people who need some healing. Yeah, there's there's so many things you can do with dressing. I was talking with was it my son-in-law? I was talking with someone. No, Peggy, my niece-in-law, who her stepfather is a fisherman, a real full-blown fisherman, and they get the tuna they can professionally is fabulous. You could simply open it up and eat it. There's no necessity for mayonnaise, relish, mustard, nothing. This stuff is great. So I asked if by any chance, and normally apparently he would do some kind of seafood dinner for Christmas. And I asked if they had ever had, see, I just moved right, and that nerve just lights up. And it ain't the light of my life, it lights up. Anyways, ask if she had ever had, there's a certain stuffing, with not clams, but something else similar to clams. But she'd never had it. And I've seen it on recipes since I've looked at recipe books. Anyway, so we had all that. And then I was supposed to make a corn souffle. I forgot the corn souffle. And I know how it happened. It was all I could do to get myself showered and dressed that day. And that's something that you really need to make the day of. So many things can be made the day before, but the day of is when you would do a souffle of any sort. And I wasn't up to it. I just think psychologically, I knew I wasn't up to it, and so it didn't get done. But we had enough. The green bean casserole was fabulous. So additionally, what else did we have? Because there was a whole thing, our whole room full of food. So I'll pull up I'll share a few little pictures. See, I had, there we go. Oh, first of all, I have a new love. I have a new love in my life. He is, I'll show you right here. Let me go back to StreamYard. Share screen. His name is Chaos. Chaos is about 1.5 pounds of in your face. I don't care how big you are. My son's German Shepherd, our family dog, but really our son's dog, 110 pounds of German Shepherd, and a sweet dog, but he does not live with another dog. And I will say Mr. Chaos came running right up into Czar's face, and Czar looked at him like, he put his head back like, hello, do you see me? Do you see how big I am? And by the time I put my hand down kind of to grab Chaos, because Czar sits on a big bed between Richard and I in the living room, and he was on his bed, and that's where Chaos ran up to say, hello, Czar. And I was able to reach down and grab Chaos by his harness. So he is so sweet. I tried to find a way to keep him, but I was told no. All right, here's a little snippet of Christmas. Let's see. Let me pull it back here. Wrong one. There we go. StreamYard again. This is my nephew and my son working. Oops. Okay, the chaos is calming down a little bit.
How long to listen to that?
I just check it and see.
How do you know?
Feel it. Okay, it looks like it's, yeah. That's the hand. And you put a temperature gauge thermometer in there, over there. That's it, right there on top of the microwave. Brent, Alexander, it's on top of the microwave. Oh. Okay. All right, thank you. Billy's working on over there. So that's what's happening. Whoa. So that was a little, oh, yeah, the dog is adorable. The dog is precious. And I'm a big dog person. I like pit bulls, Rottweilers, German Shepherds. I had the most precious Rottweiler you could imagine for about 7 years. And then one morning, she slept on the floor beside Richard, and I slept on my side of the bed on the floor. And I reached my hand down one morning to pet her, and her throat was completely swollen. And it was just, hello, Canadian Family Life. Welcome. So glad you're here. Thank you for stopping in. I reached down and I went to pet her. Her name was Haley May. And petted her top of her head, but my hand caught her throat, and her throat was fully swollen. Took her to the vet that morning, and the veterinarian told us. He said, he did some blood work, but he said, I can tell you what's wrong. Most likely she has lymphoma cancer. And he said, luckily you can treat it, but it's about $10,000, and it will only extend her life by about a year. And I told him, I said, if I needed $10,000 for my life, I couldn't just come up with it today or the next months. I couldn't do it for me. And, I'm sure there's many of you or some of you who've had to make that decision. He did tell us she'll have about 30 days left. He put her on a steroid, anti-inflammatory, exactly same one I've taken 100 times because of my spinal condition. And she had excellent, she took her home because I doubted. I thought, this don't seem right to me. I don't believe there will be 7 years. How can that be? And there is my son. Hello, Illuminati. That is his channel. He does a lot of funny stuff on there. And I took, but the doctor's fabulous, well known in the area. Took her, brought her home. She ate, drank, played, took her on walks. Children loved Haley because she just exuded a sweetness. Even though here she was, this very nice Rottweiler, I would take her on the bike path, and children would come up. People just come up and try to pet her, and I would, I would always stop them ahead of time. Oops, hold on, I'm having a problem in my leg. Just a moment. Thank you. Well, looks like I got also in here Edsa Dupit Vlogs. Hello, thank you for showing up, coming, hanging out with us. So that made me lose thought of what I was telling you about. That was the back of my thigh, the hamstring seized up and caused me pretty significant pain. Oh, so I was telling you, if I were bewitched, I could remember. It really, when that pain hits me, it completely engulfs everything of me. So I think I had been talking about a photo. Oh, dogs. So Haley, yes, I remember now. So I would stop and I would let the parents know, this dog's fine to pet, but please don't let your children run up to dogs, any dog, especially a big dog, and just put their hand out, like this. What I did is I would let them, Haley sniff the back of their hand, and she would, they'd pet her head. But I was stunned that as many people as I ran into would just bring their hand up to meet my Rottweiler. And so about 30 days after the doctor appointment, almost to the day, Richard was at work and I woke up and Haley couldn't lift her head up. And so that was the day we chose to release her. And I do have her little ash, her ash box. And so anyways, there was a reason. I don't know why I brought up dogs. Oh, yes. So this little tiny Chihuahua is adorable. This little teacup Chihuahua. I would love to have one, or a beagle. I would love a beagle. We lost our Patty Cake earlier in the year. I think January is when we lost her. And so I would love another beagle. I fell in love with the beagle breed. Just love them. And I never saw myself as a Chihuahua girl. I just didn't. It's ridiculous. They're so fun. I guess the only Chihuahua I've known is really timid and not well trained. One of my best friends, it's her dog. So I could say this, not well trained because she's very, very, very timid and very frightful. And so she wants to bite everything, everything. That's right. You have a Chihuahua. Yes. Yep. I'm in love with them now. And beagles, just forever and ever and ever. So yeah, normally pit bulls. And then my nephew, he had a pit bull he brought into our life. Loki was his name. Beautiful dog, wonderful dog. He got me through one of my surgeries. They were living with us for a year, and he would sleep with me. This dog, wonderful. He didn't like sleeping on top of the covers, so he wanted to be under the covers. Richard did not care for that, and so he'd have to sleep on the outside of the bed under the covers. But he was great. I loved him, and we lost him right after Patty. And so I'm looking at. I have to now look at what kind of dog can I handle. Can I handle a Rottweiler again? Can I handle a pit bull? Physically, really? What am I thinking? I'm a Chihuahua girl now. That's what I could handle at a beagle. Yes. All right, so let me stay on track there because there's a couple things I want to make sure I get to today that are important. So did we hear what anybody else's favorite dish was? Mine is and always will be dressing. That's, the carb addict in me, it's dressing. Although I love really good vegetables, but at holiday meals, I'm looking. So our Christmas dinner, though, is going to be Mexican food. We do some. I lived in a home and in a family where the same meal, Christmas and Thanksgiving, was basically the same meal. I've got to scratch my neck. Was basically the same meal. And when I grew up and took over after my mom passed, I figured I can do things a little differently. And I do. Some years we do Asian, mostly Italian or Mexican. This year it's Mexican, and I cannot wait for that meal because for me it's simpler to prepare. Then there will be a lot of help again. All right, so okay. There's a couple of channels that I'd like to share. And I let them know at the last minute, though, that I was going to share them out. Nice. I understand why they probably were not able to come. But these are a couple of really cool channels that I have recently ran across. And I wanted to share them with you guys. Hopefully, it'll be something that you are interested in. The first one I'm going to share is Ramblin' Rocketeer. Ramblin' Rocketeer does not have a description. Now, for me, I really like channels that do a description because I can kind of quickly check out some information on them. And it was encouraged of me when I started my channel, write out a description, Lucretia. And so, because I didn't know anything about this. But that aside, Ramblin' with a Y, a Rocketeer is a fun channel, and I've watched several of their videos. They have a Ford, I believe that's a Ford van that is decked out. Here's some information on how they did their decking out. They also have just some here's an afternoon Harley ride. Now, I am terrified of motorcycles. I was not good on motorcycles as a young person. I was on a mini bike and I ran it up a tree because I got scared and I couldn't pull the stop lever. I just could not pull the brake. And I ran my friend's motorbike right up a tree. And then I had a boyfriend with a motorcycle and I put us down twice. Luckily, both times it was on a dirt trail, but it never seemed quite right to lean. Anytime he would lean, like going into the turn, I automatically leaned opposite. I found out that is not right. And by the way, motorcycle riders don't usually gel well with non-motorcycle riders. So that's why I'm not married to one. Richard had one. He doesn't have one anymore. No more. All right. So some trips. Lots of different fun stuff here. Information, places. I thought it might be something that people might like to check out. Something new. Because I know I get stuck. I've been stuck many times in the same group of people over and over and over. So I am broadening my horizons the last year. And so check them out. And again, that is Ramblin' Rocketeer. I don't know if I had a moderator in here that could drop their link. And I apologize to Ramblin' Rocketeer for not making sure I did have that ability ahead of time. So give them a check out, Ramblin' Rocketeer. I will put the link in the description of this video after we're all done here. All right, so second channel is going to be Roy and Becky's Travels. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you guys here, whichever one is in the house. Howdy. I bet that's Roy. Howdy. I hope, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here on Earth, by the way. I was very worried. Blood pressure, I'm aware, is nothing to mess with. So I'm just so happy that you're here, and thank you for that link. Thank you. All right, so the second one, I was going to share 2 channels. The second channel is Living My Best Life at 60. Living My Best Life at 60. A little bit of different of a channel, and they do have a description here. Come along on my journey into seniorhood. I turned 60, January 15th, 2023. Everything about life will be discussed. Everything? Uplifting, positive place to hang out and get lots of good information. Everyone wants to be heard, and here we give everyone that opportunity. Great group of positive, friendly people. Come join the fun. And they do a copyright disclaimer, which actually I think is a good idea. There's another big channel who does a copyright disclaimer, or it used to, before every video. It has big copyright disclaimer. So let's look at their channel a little bit. Playlists. Let's look at playlists. So I do like this too. Playlists. I was told get playlists together. So they have a Chiweenie. Yay! Modern Day Breakfast Club. Here is game battles, and I watched one last night, and it's the couple playing. Okay, last night what did I watch? Uno and the dice game, Yahtzee. She does live streams. There's a master playlist, YouTube shorts, food reviews, poetry. So they have a little bit of everything on their channel. Cooking. So I do like this channel. I like their banner, and I highly recommend you take a look at them and see if there's something there that you like. And that is Living My Best Life at 60. Another thing I will say, I always think, and I'm going to share my new one. I finally, live Uno game, there it is a short introduction, an introduction that's a short. And I'm going to show you mine here in a minute. I couldn't find it last week or the last time I did my live stream. So, yep, Living My Best Life at 60, really fun couple, and I think that you will like them. Okay. See what... Cool. Okay. Captain Jack shared out Tanya and Dave's channel. That's enjoyable and brand new. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, if you all have would like to share a link for, if you're a moderator, my phone is pretty much dead. As I say, if you're a moderator and you would like to share, or you just want to drop the name of a channel, you're welcome to do so. All right. I also could not find last live stream. I could not find my short. So y'all know, I think everybody who's here in the room know, I started out, Richard and I started this out together as a traveling channel, a van life. I still wish we could live in a minivan. I do, or a Ford 350. Okay. I love them. I just spent 2 hours watching Minivan Lee yesterday. Again, I hadn't watched her in a while because it's not really what I'm working in that area, but I love Lee. I really enjoy Lee. And so I watched a bunch of her videos and caught up on some things and so, oh boy. All right. Well, I got to go bake a cake. Well, I hope that cake turns out well. So, so we changed. So it's, right at this point, we can't really do that lifestyle. I can't tell you how badly I want to be able to. Bad enough that sometimes I cry and sometimes I can't. And I don't mean this for sympathy at all. It is going to probably sound stupid. I'm 62 years old and I'm crying because I can't travel. Okay, come on. That really is a first world problem. But I loved it. I loved going to Quartzsite. I hear people talk about, they're heading there. They're going to be going there in January, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, God, please, if you really love me, make me well enough to go to Quartzsite in January. Please, I'll be a good girl. I will not cuss because I got a bad mouth, but not on YouTube. YouTube has cleaned up my mouth, but I'm like, I will do whatever you ask of me. Just let me go to Quartzsite, this winter. And God only knows, really. And I mean, God only knows if that's what will be able to happen. But we will see. So anyways, I did. So then we moved on to burning up the roads and prepping. And I still am doing prepping stuff, but not at the level that I felt comfortable and authentic having it as my name. I just didn't. If I'm anything, I am authentic. I am not. I probably show you too much. I tell too much. I mean, I recently was on a live stream, somebody's live stream. I think it was Roy Becky's, maybe it was somebody else's, but I mentioned I had been arrested twice. And yes, it was my own fault. And no, it was nothing horribly criminal. I just was drunk, on the first occasion. And it was the night before my wedding. And we were out drinking, having fun. We were walking. We were not driving, though. Okay. So I know better. I knew better anyways, I didn't drive. We did not drive. And so I caused a ruckus and got myself arrested. Spent the weekend in jail, got out, and on Monday, got married at the courthouse instead of a wedding, a traditional kind of wedding. Steve and Tina Jewell. Now, if you do not know Steve and Tina Jewell, you should know them. They're out of Canada also. Hello, Canadian family life. They're out of Canada, and fabulous channel. I didn't get to watch their live stream this morning, but I highly recommend them. And if anybody in here would like to drop their link, I would love that to happen. Steve and Tina Jewell. Fun couple. Fun. And they do it together. It's how Richard and I started out, but he is just not an on-screen person. He doesn't care for it. It's just not his thing, not his gig. And so anyways, about my channel, then we moved on. I tried to center it about what is this about? What is my channel about? And I really spent some time thinking about it, hard thinking about it, because, changing your channel over and over again is not so fun. And so no problem. I really think you guys have a wonderful channel, and I do appreciate it. So anyways, I better not get off track, or I'm not going to get this all done. And so it really is about life. Now, my life, it's not that I have anything that seems so self-centered to say Lucretia YT or Life of Lucretia, but it really is. But that is encompassing in my mind. It was about canning, about preparation, being prepared, prepping as a shortened term, prepping, travel when we get to travel, showing you things in the area, being real about focusing a big chunk of this, kind of the cornerstone is living with a disability. The disability I have is not visible on the outside unless you're looking at one of my videos from in bed. And occasionally that's what you will get because that is a big, gigantic, huge piece of who I am. And what I want people to know, yes, there's days I'm in bed and there's days that the pain is a 10. And I do take pain medicine occasionally for this, but that you can still go on and sit here 7 days later and do a live stream participate in the holiday season by whatever means I'm able to. Whether it's giving instruction about how to cook a turkey or whatever, that is part of my channel. So, and that I'm not, and I know for a fact I'm not the only person who lives with chronic pain. And I want you to know that if you do have chronic pain, that you're welcome here. That it is that we can make a connection if you like, and maybe there's support we can give one another. And I have a Facebook page as well that is Lucretia YT. And we can make some connections there. So I just want people to know that I'm a whole human being. I have a history. I've been sober for 28 years. I apparently have been a little part of a criminal at one time or another and been arrested. No, I was not a criminal. I just was acting out badly. And by the way, that's been, oh gosh, Richard and I have been married 39 years. That was 39 years ago. So anyways, lupus. Okay. I understand a little bit about that. Not a whole lot, but I know that that's not any fun either. So then I changed. So this is probably, I changed it to Life of Lucretia, and then, oh, there goes that pain. And then I don't know why, but my son talked me in. Thank you, Alexander Ziwahatin, he talked me into probably one day when I was in pain and in bed, changing to Lucretia YT to shorten it, to make it easier to remember maybe. I don't know. But it's now Lucretia YT, and it's staying Lucretia YT. So that's how it got to be that name, and I'm going to share my little short. And this is the reason I'm sharing this is I think it's a good idea to have something quick that somebody could go to and look at and get, watched. And here it goes. I'm Lucretia. This is my channel. Welcome and welcome back. I got it together. Hey, we made it. I am so glad you're here. And that is true. I am so glad you're here. Genuinely so glad you're here. So that's the little short that we made. And, it may change again. Not the name, but the short will probably change sometime. So that was a couple things that I wanted to make sure got shared today. Let's double check here. Okay, so some channel statistics. Here's a little YouTube, what I call, what's it called? I can't think of the right word, but I know what to do. I've grown. My channel has grown. And it's grown in part from the shorts, but I don't know that I'm making connection in those shorts. A couple of people, but let me share the screen with this again, and I'll show you where we're at. We're up to 1,624 subscriber friends, family. Lucky, gosh, what does my son call it? The Lucky Club? I don't know what we're going to call it. The Lucky Club? Get Lucky Club. The Get Lucky Club. So 1,624. I will tell you, I could never believe that I would have had a first 100. When I got my first 100, I was astounded. And then it grew, and I saw, here we are at 500. Okay, so I am someone who thrives on the chase, if you will. I'm a competitive person with myself. I'm not competitive with you. I'm competitive with myself. Now, I do like to see I have changed things by watching other people's videos or live streams or added things or taken things away because I saw, wow, that really looks cool. Or I don't like that and I do that, so I'm going to remove it from mine. That's where I'm competitive. But I'm really competitive in the chase to get into that point. And I thought, okay, we're going to do the first 1,000 subscribers and that's it. I'm going to back shelve this. Well, what nobody told me was that I was going to actually really enjoy YouTube. As I said, one of the things it's done for me is it has cleaned up my mouth. Okay. And so I am thankful for that. You're competitive with yourself as well, Ava. Yep. I don't know how to not be. When I was young and probably where I injured myself so badly, I was an athlete. And I lifted weights with the boys, not the girls, because I felt the girls were, I'm so sorry, because I now don't believe this any longer, but I felt the girls were too weak. And so I lifted with the boys and I competed in that way with the males. And I threw the javelin. I still hold records locally I don't know that they've been broken. I'd have to go over there and see. And I loved it, and the discus, and I loved that too. And I played softball as a catcher for 8 years of my life, and I could guarantee I injured myself in that position many times. And so that probably started my spinal problems. That's my understanding now from athletic doctors, because back in those days, as some of you might know, their coaches for girls were not, and boys probably as well, but coaches for girls, trainers for girls were, in my experience, were usually the driver's ed teacher, the cooking teacher. Not to down them, I'm just saying, looking back on those ladies, they were not qualified to be training people in weightlifting and whatnot. I did have a private trainer for my javelin, an University of Oregon javelin thrower, whose name was Ron Green. I just thought about him the other day. He was my trainer for javelin. So anyways, I just have to say that, I've been very lucky in many ways and I'm not so lucky in others, and that's all right, So I've got my channel. So channel is growing. There's good things happening. I'm not trying to force it. I am trying to allow it to grow naturally. Unfortunately, as anybody, I think many people who have a channel and actually then really enjoy it. Like I said, I now enjoy it. It's really grown on me. And there's times when I'm just sitting, like this morning, I did a short. I believe it's uploaded. It should be uploaded. I thought this morning, my son has been saying, you need to do some just natural morning shorts. I said, Brent, do you see what I look like in the morning, honey? And I was a mess. And he goes, that's raw. That's authentic. I said, oh, it might scare people too. But I did one this morning, and I don't know if y'all saw it, but I did one this morning. So you never know what you're going to get from me. And I really do appreciate that there's people who keep coming back and watching and making the connection. All right, just a couple more things I want to cover because it's now 3:57. Whoops, I just opened Messenger. That wasn't my intent. Sorry, Messenger. All right, so plans for Christmas. Personally, I will be right where I'm at for Christmas. I know that for 99% certainty. I'll be here through Christmas. Going to have Christmas dinner here at my house. I mentioned going to dinner for Christmas, and I have had nothing. Has anybody ever had this happen? Like if you have kids or people who depend on you, well, thank you for coming. So happy you're here and so happy you're doing well. If it's Roy or Becky, I'm glad you're both doing well. All right, guys, I love you. So, going to have dinner here, but has anybody had this happen where you're the primary fixer of meals for holidays? Your home is, now this was the home my parents lived in. My father and mother built this. I nailed chipboard here. I nailed wallboard. I mean, when I was 12 years old when we moved in here. So I remember this house has been the place where everybody came to. Things have changed over the years. I had 5 sisters, and 2 have passed. The oldest and the third down the line are gone. And both my parents, my father just passed 4 years ago. It just does not seem that long either. And so now, because normally, even after my mom was gone, my son is 33, and my mom passed when he was 9 months old. So she's been gone most of my life, you know. And so, but I took over. I took over cooking, planning, blah, blah, blah. And so now I you know, with the situation, I thought, let's go to dinner for Christmas. The big hands come up. No, we can't do that. No, we want to do a normal Christmas. Only if you're willing to cook it, baby. Only if you're willing to cook it. So that's how I've got the help I've gotten. But I don't mind. I love the meals and I love the process. But we will be here for Christmas. And if we get to come do any traveling, go to courtside or wherever, which I would love to do, it will be in January. Which brings me, so is anybody in here, if you're going to be doing something special for Christmas, if you're going somewhere, hanging out with family or friends, or you're going to courtside, I'd love to hear what you're up to and what your plans are. Does anybody here make a big meal? Again, we're doing Mexican for Christmas, which I am so excited for. And besides making, I'm buying. So there is a little Mexican store near here. For lack of the proper word, I don't even know what you call it. It's kind of like a bakery, but they do also homemade from scratch. They're in corn husks. I can't think of the name. Authentically. So good. I'm going to buy some of those. I mean, seriously, I'm not going to make them. Why make them when there's a small business in town that's they only charge like $3.50 for one. They're really good. $4 at the most. Fabulous. I'll buy them ahead of time, refrigerate them, and that's part of what I'm going to be doing for my Christmas dinner. But there will be much more. So I will have that for you to see. And then I am following my notes. Okay, so this brings me to something here I wanted to share as well. So I don't know, most of you here probably may be familiar with tamales. Yes, Ava, tamales. Oh gosh, the tamales this family makes, this wonderful family, are just, my mouth is literally watering. So yeah, beautiful tamales. So I want to share some information here about HOWA, and I think most of you probably know about Homes on Wheels Alliance. Without getting into all that they do, they are a 501c3 nonprofit started by Bob Wells and helps people who are, their homes are on wheels. I'm not going to go into all the specifics. I just want to share this, that there is going to be an end of year giving, let's see, what does it say? How to help, I'm going to make sure this is on, you're seeing exactly, okay. How to help HOWA reach our end of year fundraising goal of $20,000. I'm telling you, this is a place, if I had means of that nature, if I was a wealthy person, this is absolutely an organization I personally would give to. And I do give to. When they did this last year, I had a few dollars, and there was a bunch of stuff Bob was going to be giving away, or the foundation organization was going to be giving away, some different like, oh, I can't think of their names. Oh, goodness gracious alive. Batteries, solar kits. And we bought 50 tickets at $1 a piece. Didn't win anything, and that's okay. But it is an organization that I really do love and I support. Okay, so change lives, double your end of year gift. Every contribution matched by an anonymous donor up to $10,000 doubled on giving by November 28th. So even if I have $5, I'm going to donate $5 to them this year. After I pay everything I have to pay, I will have a couple of dollars, $5 to donate to them. They do help people with and even with build outs of vehicles for people who need one to live in. So I encourage you, if you know nothing about HOWA, to please go check them out. And I'll donate anonymously, however it has to be done, to make sure that they get their $10. If all I can do is $10. Additionally, another thing I want to share is just this here. We are excited to welcome you to Homes on Wheels Alliance, HOWA. At HOWA, we're not just an organization. We are a vibrant community dedicated to the enhancing of the lives of nomads. As a 501c3 charitable organization, our mission is clear and impactful. We're here to help nomads in need make their mobile lifestyle functional, all while providing a supportive community to be part of. There is a Nomad Energy Fund and improvements to vehicle homes. However, it's more than just assistance. It's about creating connections and fostering a culture of kindness and compassion. They also are the supporters of Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. One other last thing I wanted to look at here and look at the dates. So the Women's RTR is going to be January 11th through the 13th, which is, I think everybody knows, women connecting, camping together, and learning about being a nomad. And then the main event begins on the 20th. And I believe, I don't see the final date on here. Women's RTR is the 11th through the 13th, and the RTR, is 14th through the 19th. Does not cost to get in, and I haven't been able to get there to this, and that's something that I desperately want to go to, even though I know everything. I know nothing. I know almost nothing. So I encourage anybody, if you need that information, to go to Homes on Wheels Alliance and check out what they also do the let me find it. This is the Bring Your Own Vehicle event. There's one in February near Yuma, Arizona. That's about the RTRs. Oh, and the caravan. So this is the other thing, virtual and in-person. So I do sometimes the virtual caravans just to meet people. But the in-person caravans where you can hang out, there's different places that they are, and all that information is on here, where you can get together and camp in a group. As a matter of fact, I heard Minnie Van Lee say she thought she was going to do one of these. And it ain't because she needs to learn, because the lady knows everything. If anybody knows everything, it's Minnie Van Lee. So I encourage you to go check this out. That's all I can say. HOWA, Homes on Wheels Alliance. All right. See if anybody is still here. Quiet listener. Welcome. So glad that you are here. There's the camera. I appreciate it. I want to make sure. Oh, there is Camp Goer 1. Hi, Linda. So happy you're here. Double checking, making sure that I have not left anything behind this time, because I did last time. All right, so that was it. I'm closing that. So I've touched on everything I wanted to hit today. I'm just glad that y'all showed up. And Rose, there's Rose. Oh, goodness. Rose, thank you so much. This is a lady. You are a wonderful supporter of YouTube channels. Your ability to be to moderate for channels, you're it. You're a great lady. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And Camp Gore One, Linda, most importantly, Lucretia YouTube coming out here in January. I was just talking about that. So with every fiber of my being, I want to come to Quartzsite again. I just want to get out there. Now, I do understand there's greener places than Quartzsite in Arizona. You and I have chatted about that. So I want to come to Arizona again, and it would be January or after. Ideally in January, so that I could go to the RTRs. That's what I want to do. God may have a different plan for me, and that's what I have to go with. I wish you could, Vicky, too. And I will be coming up there. I just have to we have to get everything in order and be able to do it safely and comfortably. So truthfully, I want to come up there. I want to meet you in person. I feel like I know you, but it's different when you meet in person. Away from the phone, doing yard work. Don't worry about it. People have lives going on. It happens to me every single day with live streams. Well, it's true. I can't even believe how quick you're on that stuff at least on Roy and Becky's channel. You're fabulous. And that's just true. So I think that things are as good as they can be right now. And there will be, I'm thinking I have maybe a little tweak, but it's not necessarily to the channel. It would be an additive. Let's just call it an additive to the channel. But I'm not ready to do that yet, so I'm not going to even mention it. Go feed Tico. She has a little, I think Tico is a teacup, and Tico's adorable. So before I run everybody off, I'm just going to say thank you so much for coming. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I will be seeing you sometime, if plans always work out. And in my case, please be patient with me, because my physical situation doesn't always allow that. But trust me, I will be here if I could be here. I started to say this when I did that short this morning. I just miss you guys. I missed saying hi and having people tell me how they're doing and what's going on. Because and so I'm like, just do a live stream. And I'm like, no, don't do a live stream. Just do a live stream. I battle that. Do a live stream. It's not like picking up the phone. So, anywho, that's me. That's my channel, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Love one another. Find your passion. Nobody else is going to do it for us. All right. I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.